Why was Nia Jax crying, and is Dakota Kai really loyal to Bayley? Toni Storm kisses or sniffs Deonna Purrazzo. Trinity's last match in TNA. Tony Khan basically announces Mercedes Monet's debut date. Ruby Soho turns on Saraya, ending the Outcasts. TBS champion Julia Hart is back, and with Bianca, Becky, and Liv, we probably have the most star-studded Elimination Chamber match of all time. Welcome, if you're entering the bell, this is DS, and this is your Women's Wrestling Weekly. We've got another great week with tons happening in all brands, so let's jump right into WWE SmackDown. So on SmackDown, we got damage control drama continuing this time with the returning Dakota Kai. So Bayley first comes out and she's in her full babyface mode, and fans are just loving her. I seriously cannot believe that we have full-fleshed Bayley back. It's so wild. It's been so long. She said that she put everything into damage control, but it was hurtful to see them keep mocking her behind her back. Then Dakota Kai comes out to say she was off last week to see the doctor because she's so close to being cleared. That's great news. Dakota then says things only started changing when Kairi and Asuka joined the group, with of course Kabuki Warriors having pretty bad history with Bayley. Bayley then tells Dakota to choose her side. Then the WWE Women's Champion Io Sky with the tag team champions Asuka and Kairi come out to surround the ring, with Dakota bailing Bayley in the ring, only for her to come back in with a steel chair, and Bayley's like, I'm cornered all four sides, but Dakota Kai actually shoos away Io, Asuka, and Kairi, standing by Bayley, and Bayley's still unsure where Dakota stands. Oh, this is so good. Like, what kind of great telenovela are we watching? I also love that Dakota Kai here is so strong on the mic. We know Bayley's good, but Dakota is an underrated jam. She just comes across really natural and believable that I am too confused which side she's on. Is she going to betray Bayley too to be on Io's side, or will she stand on her own and maybe join this WrestleMania match, making it into damage control triple threat? I am intrigued. Then we got Bianca Belair versus Mitch and Mia Yim for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Good that we're getting Elimination Chamber participants from both brands, but they are kind of already promoting Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley like that WrestleMania press event. I did scream when Becky told Rhea Ripley to get ready to bottom for her, teasing mommy's Superverse era. Anyway, Mia was going 100 miles here, cornering Bianca to a point I'm like, I don't think I've seen Bianca struggling in a match this much in a long time. She rolls out of the ring multiple times to get breather. They had really good chemistry, like the handspring moonsault countered with knees, but again it was countered. And at the end, Michin hits Eat Defeat, but Bianca rolls out again out of the ring. Then Mia attempts Styles Clash, but Bianca counters it with KOD for the win in 7 minutes. Predictable outcome, but the match was really fun, so I'll say satisfied. On WWE Raw, we had one match for the Elimination Chamber qualifying, Liv Morgan versus Zoe Stark, and Liv Morgan is on her revenge era. She's here to revenge Rhea Ripley for injuring her, stopping her momentum, and she shows up here with the Royal Rumble Christina Aguilera outfit. And Zoe here also got this really cool looking top with like sparkles, silvers, and stuff. This was another fun match. Loved Liv's corner crucifix bomb, that was fun, and the finish was really awesome. Zoe misses corkscrew, and Liv hits codebreaker followed by Oblivion for the win. I gotta say, all the qualifying matches have been pretty good while being all very predictable with the results so far, but with Liv joining Bianca and Becky, this is officially the most star-studded lineup ever. I wouldn't be surprised if any of these three so far qualified ends up facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Liv has this really great personal story why she wants to hunt down Rhea Ripley, which makes me really want to see her face mommy. But WWE is also strongly building cases for Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley as well, so I think this really adds unpredictability for which match we'll be getting in Mania. And then we got this really freaking confusing segment. Becky Lynch comes out, she's all like emotional, talking about her dedication to pro wrestling. She was like, she had to miss her father's funeral, and she needs to explain to her daughter why her dad is fighting Moana's Maui. And then she was like, she's gonna go to a prom in 2034. Is that what she said? Then she gets crowd to do mommy chant. Then she asks for a drink and gets a lemonade. And she does like a toast to Rhea Ripley for her to enjoy last days of her championship reign. Then Nia Jax comes out and she's all emotional for some reason. And the crowd is booing her like crazy, even doing "You Suck" chant. I really like this crowd. Then Nia starts like half crying, and she's like kind of serious crying, not like sarcastic crying, saying she hopes her mom is half the mother Becky is, and Becky's gonna win Elimination Chamber because of her dedication. I'm like, okay. Then she kind of flips and she's like, just like I'll beat Rhea Ripley. And I'm still like, what is going on? Like, why was she crying? Like, there's no reason for her to play a mind game, especially with Becky, who she KO'd weeks ago. Like, what is the reason?
I'm Confucius.
Then Rhea Ripley finally comes out to brawl with Nia, and Nia squashes both Becky and Rhea, also squashing their lemonade cup, and knockout punches Rhea Ripley, but Becky helps Rhea take Nia out. Again, this segment was so hectic, so unhinged, like, doesn't even make sense if you really think about it. Like, if you think about it, who was Nia trying to trick with these tears? Yes, she definitely deserves some Oscars with those tears. Maybe the writer forgot to put sarcastic in the script, and Nia was just like really delivering what was asked for on the script. And Becky promo was also like all over the place. But anyway, I'm still very excited about this Rhea versus Nia Jax match. This is probably going to be the main event of Elimination Chamber match. I think it's going to be, rightfully so. That was kind of weirdly entertaining and awkward at the same time. And then there was this like backstage segment announcing this like one last chance battle royale for the Elimination Chamber for all the people from the qualifying match that were the losers. And then Chelsea Green came to Adam Pearce's office asking to be in this last chance battle royale match, so maybe it's not just losers that can be in it, anyone can be in it. Indy and Candice were waiting there too. And then right behind Chelsea Green was Shayna and Zoe, and I love how quickly Shayna changed her target. She probably already knows that she's not going to be facing Rhea Ripley in WrestleMania, so she's like, let me talk about Kabuki Warriors real quick. I'm realistic. So Shayna and Zoe are now coming for Kabuki Warriors for the tag team championships. It seems like the writers were really just like all over the place this week, but regardless, this was fun segment because Chelsea is just freaking awesome. Her Karening, I'm here for every day. On WWE NXT, we saw Lola Vice versus Roxanne Perez, the two losers of Vengeance Day NXT Women's Championship match. Both of them are sore losers, looking pissed as hell, but Lola is still gonna do her hip dance. You just can't stop her. Also loved her ass shake before the hip attack, and you can tell that Roxanne is really trying to expand her moveset here. Love that second rope moonsault that is now in her arsenal, and that Melina throwback. Loved it. And at the end, Tatum Paxley out of nowhere comes in trying to cash in Lola's breakout tournament contract. First of all, ma'am, it's not yours. Secondly, it's been used. And lastly, how the hell do you have the contract now? Anyway, this distraction lets Roxanne hits Pop Rocks for the pin in 9 minutes. I am so confused about the Tatum Paxley situation. Tatum is low-key the most entertaining thing about Lyra's championship reign. It's kind of funny. I'm satisfied. Then we had a tag match, Fallon Henley and Ren Sinclair versus Metaphor, Lash Legend, and Jakar Jackson. And before the match, we see Lash dragging Ren Sinclair backstage, calling her a wide-eyed rookie. And Metaphor really stood out in this match. Like, Lash looked so freaking good, just effortlessly catching people mid-air. She's so freaking strong. And Jakara looked so damn good. Love that lick punch. Even she knows she's slayed with that. And their tag move was so cool. It looked so devastating. I love Lash just pulling Jakara, hurling Fallon's throat into the rope. Then Lash finishes the match by powerbombing Ren in 5 minutes. This was a really fun match and another evidence that Lash needs to be in the women's championship picture ASAP. I'm satisfied. Outside of these two matches, we saw Thea Hale getting all excited for her Valentine's date with that really cute guy from Chase U, but JC is like, girl, you need to play hard again. And Thea, as expected, is like, oh my god, I'm gonna be the hardest girl ever to be in the world. You know it's gonna be a big flop. And well, it's good because that boy is mine. Actually, he's dating Blair Davenport. And JC, you think you're so smart, but you dumb. You should have had Chase U man version of the calendar too. And backstage with see Kiana James and Easy Dame just bullying Brinley Reese, pouring out her coffee and everything. It's like very Gossip Girl, Mean Girl situation. I actually really like Brinley. She's very likable. There are tons of tag teams right now in NXT. Now, I kind of want to see Kabuki Warriors to come down and defend the tag titles here or something. Heading to AEW, on Dynamite, we see Toni Storm versus Red Velvet with Deonna Purrazzo in a commentary. Deonna looked so damn good, by the way. She was just like radiating. I love it. And AEW Women's Champion Toni Storm come in. I don't know, something felt a little bit off this night. Like in Toni Storm match or promo, you just expect everything over the top. Over the top entrance, over the top the Luther spot, over the top facial expression, the pronunciations. I was surprised that she didn't do any of that. No Toni Storm shenanigans in this match. It was just a regular match, which I was kind of surprised about. Not even the dramatic hip attack. But she did use tons of classic wrestling moves, which I think is great. It's genius for her gimmick. And she makes Red tap out with the ankle lock. This was her answer to Deonna's technical side, the submission. And then post-match, I don't even know what's going on. Like, is Toni okay? She just like starts sniffing Deonna, kissing almost. I don't know what's going on. It was a bit lesbianic, which I love. I guess Toni did say she's gonna eat Deonna. Didn't know it like this way. Then Deonna pushes Toni, then Luther stops them. Toni, Mariah walk out. Yeah, this was kind of weird. I think this weird kissing situation really saved the whole thing though. I'll say stratified just for that. Anyway, so Toni was sniffing Deonna and I'm like, what is she smelling? Like, what is going on? Also, like, if I was in that position, I'd be so insecure if someone was smelling me that close after a big cardio, like a wrestling match. So when I go to the gym, I do spray myself a bit of Dossier to smell extra good because there are some hot guys at my gym. Because this episode is brought to you by Dossier, and you know we love Dossier here because thanks to Dossier, we're smelling good all the time. Literally, my coworkers are like, what do you have on? Like, you smell so good. So I told you last week about my recent favorite musky gaiac. Another one that I always cling to, always come back to is this spicy vetiver, inspired by Hermes, Hermes. I think that's how you say it. This has been my constant since I first started using Dossier. It's complex, masculine scent, woody, aromatic, green, and sometimes even like smoky. It also has sparkling freshness with grapefruit and pepper scent. Seriously, I love this so much, so I use it like all the time. But the best part is I don't need to break my bank getting the designer cologne because Dossier is all about yes to smelling good, but no to overpaying. There's so much price markup in fragrance business. Dossier is all about clean, ethically sourced, long-lasting high-end perfume, but importantly, within reach. So if you're curious about stepping into a new way of consuming perfumes, Dossier is here for you. So make sure to use code 10RingTheBell for special discount just for Ring the Bell fam at dossier.co. And Tony Khan made this big announcement for their Dynamite on March 13th in Boston TD Garden. He says it's going to be a special show calling it AEW Dynamite Big Business. And the poster they released had Boston with $2 the color scheme of Mercedes money. It's in Boston where Mercedes is from, and the light is shaped like two M's like Mercedes Monet. Like, as much as I'm gonna be surprised, this is a screaming the boss time, Mercedes Monet coming to AEW, so I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited. And apparently she sold out this arena in like 12 minutes or something like that. Oh, her power. On Rampage, we had tag match Saraya and Ruby Soho versus Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander, and during the entrance, Ruby finds some like note or letter in her jacket, I guess. Oh, what is this? Let me read this during this nationally televised TV show. But she must have found out something damning because at the end of this match, when Saraya tries to tag Ruby in, she drops to the floor and walks out, even decking Cameron on the way, which lets Willow hit Babe with the power bomb, is this new name for Dr. Bomb, picking up the win in 10-minute match. This is an official demise of the Outcasts with both members now leaving the group. Excited to see if we'll get Saraya versus Ruby feud out of this. I'm also curious to see what was in that note or letter. Post-match, Sky Blue comes out to stare down with the winners, then light goes out for TBS champion Julia Hart to return, and they vanish as the light goes out again. Stat versus Julia Hart feud incoming? I was wondering where the champion was. Julia Hart was like, where were you? The rumor going around was that she was injured or whatnot, so glad she's back. Hopefully she's all cleared. And I'm excited to see Willow or Statlander in a title picture. I wonder if like who's gonna challenge Julia Hart will be the point of contention between the two. And in Collision, we had two back-to-back women's matches, Deonna Purrazzo versus Kiera Hogan, two former TNA knockouts clashing here. And in this match, Deonna was really going straight into Kiera's arm, just really working it, breaking it down over time. Pretty slow-paced match, but more like methodical. And after hitting her signature Russian leg sweep, Deonna locks Kiera in a Venus de Milo to tap Kiera out. That submission looks like it's gonna hurt a lot all the time. And as Deonna celebrated her win, Toni Storm comes out and she was on tonight. She was on. She was serving over the top everything, the entrance, the face, everything. And she goes against Queen Aminata. At this point, she's giving NPC character you can battle over and over again. Why isn't she doing anything different? She's out here doing same entrance, same moves after all these losses. She's literally having a match with AEW Women's Champion and she's twerking yet again. At least AEW gave her a whole sit-down interview with Renee Paquette on YouTube. And I'm saying all this because I actually really like Queen Aminata. We know each other. She really has interesting background and personal story. She's a great wrestler. So why is AEW keep sending her to do the same every single damn time just to lose over and over again. Anyway, good action as always from Aminata. Loved the air raid crash. And as she sets up hip attack, the queen of hip attack, Toni Storm, gets out and hits her with her own hip attack and connects it with Storm Zero for the win. By the way, her lipstick was all smeared and she was nose bleeding too, so it was all just like adding to the wildness, unhingedness of it all. And then she does this like unhinged promo implying that like, I don't know, like she hooked up with one of the commentators in Las Vegas or something, and she's like releasing new film on Dynamite and something about this butthole. I don't really know. Total freaking mess, but in the best way. Glad to see her back on it, just being a total unhinged mess of an entertainment. Stratified. Really can't complain about having 2 women's matches in one show, but I do wish there were more intrigue to these matches. Like both matches were painfully predictable. Like it was too much. I feel like AEW could have done like beat the clock challenge maybe with Deonna and Toni or something to add more excitement to it, but I don't know. It is what it is. And TNA Wrestling. It's a bit of an awkward situation with TNA right now because, well, first of all, Trinity is showing up here, but everyone knows she's now back in WWE as Naomi. Now, come to think of it, I wonder if this is why Naomi hasn't done much on TV so far. But also, the big situation is Scott D'Amore, the president of TNA, the person that was really hard charging the revival of TNA Wrestling with that hot new rebranding and all, is fired recently and is replaced by this guy who, from what I've seen, hasn't been involved with wrestling so much. This is a very concerning move from TNA, and it's very heartbreaking, especially given that TNA had such great momentum since January. It was just starting to like really take off, so hopefully fingers crossed that this does not stop all the great things happening in the Knockouts division. We still haven't even seen Dana Brooke, Ash by Elegance debut in TNA. So we got 2 matches. First was a rematch, Tasha Steelz versus Xia Brookside, the rookie of TNA, and I think this was a lot better match than their first outing. Tasha comes in looking amazing in that Egyptian princess inspired outfit, and this time she really comes across as veteran that knows what's going on. Xia shows some cool stuff too, like that octopus, and she attempted to hit Tasha with Brookside bomb, but Steelz breaks it up and then rolls her up, grabs her tight, winning dirty in 4 minutes. So I guess we're getting trilogy match now? These matches are really to introduce Xia to TNA audience, and even though she lost, Xia looked like a lot more comfortable here already, and also she didn't lose clean, so I'll say I'm satisfied. I'm excited to see where this story goes. Then we got Trinity's last match in TNA, Trinity and Jordynne Grace versus Savannah Evans and Giselle Shaw with Jay Vidal. Trinity here looked so awesome, walking in with glow up jacket. This match was for the build up for Jordynne Grace versus Giselle Shaw Knockouts Championship match at No Surrender. The match was a pretty typical Shantaraj match. Like when Giselle is on, she's freaking on. She will put on an action like nobody's quintessential business. But you also know when the diva wants to keep it chill. Resorting to the numbers game of heel tactic. And even though the 2 people from No Surrender matches over here, the match really was for the big standoff for Trinity, because she was the hot tag at the end, and she comes in, do her signature high crossbody, rear view, and she finishes Evans with Code Red into Starstruck, tapping her out, wrapping her time in TNA. And I think you could tell that she was like really emotional after this match. And also you can feel that TNA really respects Trinity. She could have easily lost to Giselle on her way out. That would have been actually a huge rub for Giselle, but we're here for a feel-good send-off, and I really appreciated this moment, so I'll say I was satisfied. So that is it for this week's Women's Wrestling Weekly. If you liked what I was wearing with the Divas Elite 4, you can find that down below in the store section, right here, yeah. And I am editing away all the interviews I've done during Royal Rumble weekend on a Kiss interview that's coming, I promise you. I'm working very hard, but also if you're curious about what I'm doing in general, you can find me at DSShin on Instagram and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter, and I'll see you next time. Bye!